All right, let's do the male reproductive system structures. So again, this is a sagittal view. We can see anterior, posterior. Here are our common iliac artery and vein. Here's our ureter, and here are those testicular vessels coming down. So let's take a look at the external genitalia first. Obviously, we have the penis. The part of the penis that you may call the head of the penis is technically called the glans penis. So that's the glans penis. And then on either side we have the scrotum. So there's a wall between the two sides, and each side has a testicle, which you can see here, inside of which there are little tiny tubules like this, called the seminiferous tubules. That's where the sperm are produced, inside the testicle, in the seminiferous tubules. After the sperm are produced, they move into a coiled tube that is on the posterior surface of the testicle called the epididymis. There they further mature and get ready for an ejaculation. If an ejaculation occurs, they will then move up through this tube, which is called the vas deferens, up out of the scrotum, into the pelvis, behind the urinary bladder, where they're going to encounter a gland here called the seminal vesicles. And the seminal vesicles are going to make fluid that contributes to semen. So you have your vas deferens coming along. Seminal vesicles are going to squirt fluid into there. We can also see here's the end of the ureter here entering the bladder. I'm going to take this away so you can see where things go from there. So our vas deferens came around back, got fluid from the seminal vesicles, and then it's going to come down through this gland here, which is the prostate gland, sitting right underneath the urinary bladder. So the vas deferens is going to dump its contents into the urethra. So the prostate is also going to secrete fluids into the semen, and it will move out the urethra to the external urethral orifice. So again, urinary bladder, rectum, pubic symphysis. So I want to show you a few more structures of the scrotum. So here we can see the testicle again. This is that epididymis with its covering on it. And we can see this little red tube here, that is the testicular artery. And there's this webby blue network. Those are the pampiniform plexus of veins, which is one of my favorite words, pampiniform plexus. Right there, pampiniform plexus of veins, draining blood away from the testicle. This whole structure is called the spermatic cord, and it is surrounded by a layer of muscle, represented here by this orangish line, called the cremaster muscle, and that can raise and lower the scrotal contents as needed. I'm going to switch to a different model to show you some additional things, because I think this one's a little nicer in some ways. So again, we have the penis, the glans penis, the external urethral orifice, scrotum. Here you can see nicely that cremaster muscle that surrounds this whole spermatic cord and down around the testicle and epididymis. This is a deeper dissection, so we can see the testicle, the epididymis, the pampiniform plexus, and somewhere in that mess of red, the testicular artery. I want to show you inside the penis now, because there's some interesting structures there. So there are 3 columns of erectile tissue that make up the penis. On what you think of as the top side of the penis, we have the corpus cavernosum. There are actually 2 of these, one on each side. And then underneath is the corpus spongiosum here. And there's just one of those. The urethra travels through the corpus spongiosum to get to the external urethral orifice. So if I put this back together and show you a cross section of the penis, you can see that it has 2 corpora cavernosa and 1 corpus spongiosum underneath, and that's what the urethra is traveling through. Let's review the other internal structures. Here comes our vas deferens, seminal vesicles, prostate gland, and here is another gland that I had to draw in because it's almost never on these models. There's a little teeny gland right here called the bulbourethral gland. And the bulbourethral gland secretes a mucousy fluid before ejaculation to clear out the urethra and make sure that the semen has a nice, smooth, lubricated pathway. So you may know of that fluid as pre-cum or pre-ejaculate. That's coming from the bulbourethral gland. So we have 3 types of glands in the male reproductive system: bulbourethral glands, prostate gland, of which there's only 1, and the seminal vesicles. Again, a reminder: urinary bladder, urethra, corpus cavernosum, corpus spongiosum. And that's it for the male.